Hello everyone, I want to make a little tutorial about the importance of breaking your rigs. So what I mean by breaking your rigs is that you're not forced to leave each part stick together because visually the mesh or the character is physically made to stay glued. Okay, if it sells a better animation, then don't hesitate to break your character. So it can be breaking the arms, so like this. Okay, it can be detaching elements like so. Okay, or scaling, overscaling stuff like this. So of course, don't do this if unnecessary. There is always a reason why you would do such things, and also a room where it's more allowed than other places, other circumstances. So here, for example, this walk. So you may not see it, but the robot loses a few parts when he walks. So if you take a look closer at this part here on the arm, let's select it, you will see that when the arm moves rapidly from this position to this position, okay, you can see that this part and this one, and a lot of parts that use visually to stay in place are offset at some point. So it can be just a little rotate here, or it can be a rotate plus a movement. And you have the same here. So basically what I did here is just kind of a Newton pendulum motion. So you have a movement that pushes everyone front at first, then those who are completely front goes front, then middle will go a bit back, and everything will glue here at the same position, and then everyone will gather back again. And you have a really subtle movement here of these pieces. Like when the robot hit the ground, the arm falls a bit, so this part stays, levitates a little before returning back to the arm. And you've got also some scale here. So when the arm is really far away behind, it's really long, and then once it reaches back the character's body, it compresses. So you have the illusion that you have real pistons, and it's really cool. And you can also see the wall carapace, wall plates here that are dislocated more or less at each step. But it's really subtle, and the more you will have fast movements, so really few frames between two keys, the more you would be able to do this kind of stuff. It's okay. I also made this animation where the character will shoot a few bullets, and each time he shoots, you can see the power of the shoot, just because when he shoots, it simply destroys the wall cannon, like so. And visually, it gives the impression that he unleashed some energy from the arm back to the blasts. and then hop, the cannon retrieves its original look. Okay, so here's another example. So you have this robot making a loop animation, and the important part is the really first one. So when the robot will gather all his body, every pieces are, or almost every pieces are separated. So you have the arms here, the wings that are really backwards, okay, and gradually they retrieve a compact position. So it helps to give the impression that the character starts from a really sparse stance, sparse pose, when in fact the character is quite small. At some point, it's not a really huge character, and when you dislocate it, you can really have something vast. So it's really interesting to play with this. And that's not because I have a robot that I am forced to keep every part linked together. You're in animation, it's just a 3D model, you're free to dislocate it the way you want. If it brings more life in your animation, just do it. Another one which is quite cool and which is a good example of what you could do even with a human character, it's good to do this as well, is this one. So you can just feel the jump. So it's really subtle, but if you look at how it transforms, so you have a compression. So that's another principle of animation. You most of the time you need to anticipate the movement you will do. So the viewer is not lost into a straight movement. Okay, and then I dislocated this guy just to stretch it. So it gives me the impression that is has a difference between this height and this one. So between this key and this one. And this actually helps to sell the jump. You have also the, if you look at this, the eye and the cavity of the eye. I played a lot with this, like if I had a ball inside of a basket. You can see that the eye here will just go back, then rise up and scales down to retrieve its original position. But what you see, in fact, is just a bouncing ball inside of the eye cavity. And then the same. It's up, down, and it retrieves the original position. So here the same. The eye is not centered. It really plays with the position of the cavity. So you have this, again, bouncing ball, boom, 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 which gives the life to this eye. And again, it's a robot. Okay, it's perfectly rigid, but it's up to you to just take any part you want and dislocate it and yeah, underlay your animation a bit better. Lastly, you have this animation. So same principle will can apply. So if you look at Meven, so the character here at the center, and mostly her arms, they won't stay at the same anatomical volumes, if I may say so. For example, at the beginning, it's slightly scaled in this direction, just to follow the movement of the rising arm, like this. It's really light. Okay, you have this here, but it's there. Then you have also this kind of stuff. You can see that the fingers are strangely bent, and the arm as well. And that's just to follow this movement. Okay. And by doing this, you bring also more ease in, more ease out. You can control a bit better the timings of your fingers, so when they should stay in place, when they should reach the end position, and how much time they have to do this. So when you have a few keyframes like here, like I have, I did this in 24 keyframes. So that's what we use for the world trailer. So you have to find those techniques to do this kind of stuff, and makes your animation a bit more fluid. So you have also this for the head, like it's a bit compressed here between this posing and this posing. You have this one, and the head is slightly compressed. If you do this too much, the eye will see it, and it's wrong. You have to feel it, not see it. So it's a subtle in between you have to find, but it's really important to get this right. Here you can see also that the fingers are quite bent toward this direction. It's just because I need to drive the viewer eye and follow kind of a cool flow like this. So everything I can bend to express better this flow, I bend it. And yeah, but I can at some point, if I would like to, I could do this or this. Just here it doesn't work, but if it would help, I would do this. Okay, and then you have this little movement here where again the fingers are a bit stretched, a bit deformed, just to match the curve of the movement. And it's not always about making curves and stuff like this. It's just about having clear trajectories for what you want to express. So here it's just a swing from one position to another. So it's better to have this little wave like this. It's satisfying to watch. But then when Maven will simply try to reach directly the next position, it's better to have a really straight movement. And then she fires up the lightsabers. And again, when she do this, you have this posing here, where Maven just gather energy. And just to make you feel this, I've really distorted the arms here. Okay, the shoulders are a bit offset. Usually they are not at this position. But this helps to just sell the accumulation of energy and tell you, okay, there will be a maybe an explosion, kind of an explosion just after this posing, and that's it. So yeah, to sum up, I would say that really don't hesitate to be harsh with your rigs, to destroy them, to bend them so they follow what you want to make as posing. It's not because, for example, Akeytsu makes you a specific arc with high gaze or reverse foot, for example, that you're forced to keep this arc. Nothing impedes you to take the bond yourself in FK mode. Like FK mode is just like you click on the character and you move the joints like you want. You rotate them, you do this. And actually it's probably better like so. But yeah, if you want to adjust your posing, do this, and don't be afraid to dislocate your wrist. It's one of the biggest secrets in animation, in 3D animation, I've learned in the 10th last years, maybe more. So yeah, I'm not doing animation from this long, but I've got this advice like 5 years ago, and it really changed the way I see animation. Because before that, I was really afraid to touch the way my joints were set up. Like it was forbidden to move a joint and stuff like this, and no, it's not. It's really not. So I hope this will help you, and I don't know when I will make another tutorial. By the way, I want to tell you that all the rigs you see here are available on the stores you can see in the descriptions. And last week I've made a specific variant for each of these rigs on ArtStation, which I've called Akeytsu Lover variant. This variant is really cheaper than buying the full asset. You don't have PBR textures, you don't have extra animation samples and stuff like that. You just have the Akeytsu rig, and that's it for 30% of the original price. So every rig is really cheap, and so you can get them and have fun with these on Akeytsu. But if you want to make further renders and go have really good renders, that's not what you're looking for. So no, I hope you found it useful. Don't hesitate if you have some questions and some requests for next tutorials. I have a lot of ideas, but if you need something in special, just tell me, and it may be the next tutorial. So see you and have fun on Akeytsu.